cornered. His wife found Shen Dao as reunion after 15 years. There is no bloody plot, only the silence of adults in the face of suffering. Shen Dao took out a bundle of money and took it out again. That one was kept for Liangzi, 15 years of keys. In his heart, he always reserved a place for this old man. The reappearance of this key connects the broken past. It also paints a sadness for this past full of regrets. But a warm full stop. Liangzi's story came to an abrupt end. The director did not explain its ending, but in the context of reality, in 2014, a terminally ill low-level worker, his fate is actually self-evident. The blows of life followed. Shen Tao's father died suddenly at the train station. Here, director Jia Zhangqi used a very shocking and meaningful shot. When my father passed away, there happened to be an old monk next to him. For him to transcend, this plot is not fictional. Instead, it is based on a real incident that occurred at Taiyuan Railway Station in 2011. Jia Zhangqi made this scene almost a replica of the original. The intention in the movie is extremely profound. Not only strengthens the film, the sense of fate of the impermanence of the world is explored from beginning to end. It also adds a compassionate religious meaning and the ultimate care of humanity. The only unconditional person in the world who loved him is also gone. At the master's funeral, the 7-year-old son came back happily. He was wearing an expensive school uniform and speaking Chinese. In the face of the huge cultural and class barrier, the mother and son seemed extremely strange. What made him even more devastated was that Zhang Jingsheng wanted to take his son to immigrate. Australia, Shen Tao knew that he couldn't give his son that kind of life. I can only let go, he said the line to his son that ran through the whole story.
Everyone can only accompany you for a while. It was early to separate.
In order to spend more time together, he gave up the plane. The slowest green train was chosen. In a shaky carriage, the mother and son share a pair of headphones. Listen to that precious song. Finally, he gave his son a string of keys to the house. He gave his son the way home. But he knew better than anyone else. This other mountain is high and the water is far away. And the double night festival is blocked. Maybe it is a lifetime. Story ends in Australia 18 in 2025. The old Dao Lei no longer speaks Chinese at all.
He indifferently declared, in Chinese class, that I don't have your mother. No mother, so what are you?
This is not forgetting, but because the longing is too painful, so I can only deliberately escape. His relationship with his father, Zhang Jingsheng, was also on the verge of collapse. Zhang Jingsheng back then has now become a lonely, bald old man. Although he was in the mansion, his spirit became an empty shell. He stubbornly wore Chinese clothes, and his Shanxi accent became heavier and heavier. The only pastime every day is to wipe the guns all over the table, roaring,
Lao Tzu is selling a lot of money now.
However, Lao Tzu's two enemies now do not have the irony of this scene.
It means that Zhang Jing is full and he wins algebra. Won the money of the whole world, but lost the whole world. He lost his friends and lovers in his hometown. Even talking to my son relies on translation software. He didn't buy guns for defense, but desperately eager to return to that era. Although his body is in Australia, but the soul was forever imprisoned in the 1999 Fenyang. Dao Lei, who was extremely lacking in love, fell in love with his Chinese teacher. Mia's relationship is more like looking for her mother's shadow in Mia. When the cherished song sounded Chen Feng's memory again, it was awakened. He decided to return to China and look for his mother, but the worldly vision put his and Mia's plans on hold. Standing on the beach, my heart longing for my hometown and mother finally broke out. He shouted out a non-standard Chinese with all his might. This call seems to have traveled through time and space. Shen Tao, who was far away in the burning ship, was making dumplings. He turned around suddenly, and in the empty room, there was only deathly silence. The last scene of the movie is the loneliest in the history of Chinese cinema, also the most sacred 3 minutes. Shen Tao, who is over 100 years old, is leading the old dog, walking alone in the heavy snow on the outskirts of burning sheep in the open snow. Suddenly remember 1999, that passionate music. Shen Tao was alone in this vast world, dancing gracefully. His steps were no longer light, even a little clumsy, but his face was a kind of calm and tenacity after seeing through the world. In the distance is the unchanging literary style. For thousands of years, the tower, mountain and river are still the same, and the old friends have scattered. The meaning of this dance is worth savoring repeatedly. When I was young, this dance is a carnival for a group of people. It is a vision and cry for the future. And now this dance belongs only to him. It is to reconcile with one's past. It is a silent nostalgia for all the separated old people. See this. We finally understand the fate of the three people. Zhang Jingsheng, who went all the way west, got the money, but he lived as an island. Liang Zi, who sticks to his homeland, keeps his dignity, but my body was overwhelmed by the dust of the times. And Shen Tao, who has been staying in place, has endured all the separation. Finally, I found the strength to get along with myself in loneliness. Jia Jiangqi tore open the truth of life and showed us. But he was gentle, he told us. Even if life is devastated, even if you are destined to walk alone in the snow, you can still do it for yourself. Choose another dance. The mountains and rivers are still hard to find. At the same time, he also forces us to ask ourselves on the way we are desperately chasing. Which beam did we lose? Are we living as another lonely Zhang Jingsheng? On our necks, is there still the string of keys that can take us home? Since separation is a compulsory course in life, since we are destined to lose one after another, then the only thing that can be done is to cherish it when you get together. After parting, he seriously said a word of cherishment, although the old man is far away. But as long as the mountains and rivers are still there, and the memories are still there, they never really leave.